Hello everyone, this is Riccardo Masini and this is WLOG and this is A Magnificent Style, Deluxe Edition, Biggest Charge by Herman Latman. And after having said that name, Herman Latman, I really feel like I could end the video here because yes, it's a great game, yes, it's a great system, yes, it's one of the best solitaire I've ever played, yes, it really captures the essence of the biggest charge, pivotal moment in American history. So that's it, bye, hi, ciao, and here is the end of the video. Okay, no, I'm not doing that, but of course, what can I say about one of the best titles, but one of the best game designers currently active, at least in my opinion. It's a great game. Most of you will already know this game because it is one of the most well-known solitaire games. It has been originally published by Victory Point Games, and after that it has been remade, reprinted, and re-elaborated by Worthington Publishing in a totally new format, including cards and some refinements in the mechanics. Victory Point Games, it was already great game, but in this deluxe edition, really it is at its best. Of course, everybody knows that also it is the first title of a series that never happened, but somehow happened in different publishers, because after that we have Crowbar, about the Point du Hoc, the action by the US Rangers during the Normandy landings. And I think Chris Wolters lead the way, if I remember correctly, also a sci-fi version. And also Herman has made clear that he has other titles in store with this system that is, you get a series of units starting from this point. You have to reach that point, the enemy line, and a lot of stuff happens during along the way. I won't delve too much on the mechanics of the game. First of all, because I think that every one of you knows this game, or should know this game. Also, this game, I know there is a reprint coming by Worthington, because Worthington has published the titles about the American Civil War, so it is possible that you will already find this game already available and newly available on the market, also on the secondary market, but also on the primary market as new copies. There's no, at least as I know, there is no rat in the first printing, so if you get a first printing, it's good as well. Anyway, A Magnificent Style really captures that moment. Really is a great game, a solid game that is incredibly simple because it is highly procedural, and also all the interface is there, so it is very easy to follow. You just need a first read to the manual, to the rule book, but after that you have everything on the table, absolutely very easy to follow. All these steps are there, and also it is a great solitaire because I really like it because you just need 1 hour, 1 hour and a half to have a game session, so you do not need to keep it on the table along multiple sessions. Also, if you put it away, you can get it back in 6 months or so, and you will immediately get back to the rules, recatch the rules. And also, once you manage to win it, which is very challenging, which is very difficult to do, you don't have that thing about solitaire games that once you win a solitaire game, okay, I did it and I can sell it because I don't want to play it anymore. No, you just want to play it once and once again, again and again and again. It is almost addictive. Also because there are various levels of victory, of possible victory. Also on Board Game Geek you have also variants to increase the difficulty level if you feel so. but be advised, this is not an easy game to win, but also because, and I really liked it, the fact that Herman gives you two different sets of victory condition. The first is a game victory condition. It is essentially how many union position I can reach with my man, get them out and conquer. Just a quantitative. Okay. And that it is a game victory condition. But there is also an historical victory condition, that is here on the victory point schedule. And you just don't, it's not enough to, okay, catch 5 or 6 or 7 union position. You have to get them with not too many losses, possibly adjacent union positions, and with other considerations. Why? Because, and that is the historic victory point, the historical victory point schedule. Why? Because you can have a great game performance, but historically, if you capture 5 or 6 union positions, but your units are completely depleted, they lost all of their strength points, a union counterattack will push you back, and everything would have been totally useless. The flow of the game is very simple. It is also aided by cards. Those cards can be used by you, the Southern player, the Confederate player, or by the bot in the North and the Union bot. It depends. You have some phases really quick. The Union activity phase, in which the Union bots draws a card and applies the event. That is, of course, is negative to you. And be advised, because the more you go along, you have 5 turns, the last 2 or 3 turns, the Union bots will, and it will be progressively harder, the Union bot will draw many more cards. Every turn is about 15 minutes, more or less, of real time. And after that, the second is follow me phase. You put your generals on the respective brigades of course, by the order of battle. So Trimble goes with the Trimble brigades, and the same is for Pettigrew and Pickett, of course. And then the further Confederate unit activation phase. And it's up to you. You have got those brigades, and you've got those rally points, and you decide, okay, I want to activate Garnet, for example. Okay, let's activate Garnet. You roll 2 dice on this table, 4 and 1, it is, have a fire. Okay, Garnet is shaken. He gets 1 point of damage for every space from his rally point, or half the distance, but you round up, so it is 1 point of damage. From 10, you go to 9. Then what do you do now? You have Garnet. Do you want to push forward? You have those obstacles, you have to get there. You also manage to do some damage with your bombardment, but you have to side those damage, so those are temporary, and you have got to fleet them. You don't know what's behind them. Okay, I want to go on with Garnet, but it is risky because now Garnet is shaken. His rally point is 1 behind him, 5 and 3. Okay, Garnet advances. What should I do now? I don't have a general with Garnet, because general will give me a reroll or other bonuses. Okay, stop. Garnet is done. I just take his rally point and I get it here, so that on the next turn, Garnet will start from here. It will be reorganized, and it won't have to get back here. Also, and then it's okay, I want to go with Armistead. Garnet is done. Now let's go with Armistead. 3-4, Armistead advances, and so on. Maybe he can form a battle line. Some events are very advantageous if you have adjacent units, and so you go on. But once you get here to the obstacle, it will be very much more difficult to overtake those obstacles. You will need only certain results. Also, some squares reduced dates you get from the Union troops, but others, here is the angle. There's a nice asymmetry. Those are terrible because there is concentrated fire here. And you go on and on. After that, after you have activated all your brigades, housekeeping phase. And so you essentially you reset. But if you have some events here during your advance, will have the bot, the Union bot use, for example, making volley fire, etc. But in the housekeeping phase, you have generally you didn't use, for example, Picket. Okay, Picket didn't use it for various bonuses on the combat, etc. I just use him and I draw a card and apply the gray effective rebel artillery support. Choose one unit position and place 2 unrevealed fire. For example, okay, now I want to get here and now I will get that. If my units are in yellow or red positions, I will flip them. And what did I do? Well, this is a miss, not too much. With this one, oh, this is 2 misses. Too bad. Nothing happened. And so on and so on. Once you get here, for example, that's the stuff to, okay, everybody has watched the also in Italy, the Gettysburg movie. I get a mistake fighting here. I make, based on the strength value of the Confederate troops and the Northern troops, I get contested die roll of a certain number of dice with those modifiers. Once again, everything is on the table. Nice thing I can get, you can see this table of results table. I can get morale losses, so I can push back my adversary, but they are disaggregated from the real. This is a Latman trademark. Okay, another thing I really like about this, so I can, for example, I can get a lot. I can make a lot of losses to the Union troops, but they hold on and they still am here, and I didn't get that position. Also, once I get that position, the Union troops get here in the rear area, so they can counterattack with due to other events, etc. Okay, another thing I really like, and essentially that's it. You do that for 5 turns, and at the end of the 5th turn, you see how many Union positions you did occupy with your Confederate troops. Now many of your Confederate troops have survived the ordeal. Of course, the generals can move troops around, etc. But the fact is that every single brigade has its own column, no shifting around entire brigades, but a lot of stuff happens. So even if the general flow of the game is always the same, the game will be different with cards, with tables, with events. You can get bonuses, cover bonuses, or instead cover maluses, negatives. Everything will happen in the game. There's chaos, there's friction at every single corner, behind every single corner of this game. Something I really, really liked about this game, another thing, is that I can see a lot of, since this game has been published in the early 2000s by Victory Point Games, I can see a lot of stuff that after this game, Herman Latman elaborated about and created other game mechanics about. The double, for example, everyone who has played Most Fearful Sacrifice or the Blind War series will immediately recognize this double table. Also, the fact that you can get a lot of losses on your enemy, you can inflict a lot of losses on your enemy, but the enemy will stay in his position and you will push it back. So the disaggregation between actual losses and morale losses, and lots of other stuff. This is absolutely incredible because it is absolutely an Herman Latman design, and I can see the birth of so many ideas of game mechanics. Herman says that he got these push or luck dynamic. So should I advance or should I stop here? I just have 5 turns, so there is a great time factor. Should I stop and reorganize my troops? From a traditional German game, the Schwein card game. Schwein means pig, I think. And it is, I think, interjection when something goes wrong in that game. And it's amazing because it really works, it really captures really, you have got results like against the wind or on to Washington. It really gets that nature, that contested nature of this maneuver. And with incredibly simple rules, with an incredibly short game time, you can get an entire game session in 1 hour and a half, 2 hours at maximum, which is great for an evening game session after work before going to bed. And it is not so common in solitaire games, especially nowadays, because a lot of solitaire games require you to stay on the keep the game on the table, because you need 4, 5, 6, 8 hours. And not everyone has this possibility, but everyone can get an evening to dedicate to this great game. And so this really captures the essence of that historical episode with a really simple and accessible system, but also very engaging, very dramatic, very narrative system. There is a lot of storytelling. Yes, you will feel like you are part of the Gettysburg movie, on the incredible scene about the biggest charge. So much that this is something that has raised some criticism about this game, that maybe you are a bit too much involved in it. Because let's not play around with this stuff. Even if this game is great from a simulation point of view, there's still a solitaire game which you just lead Confederate troops against Union forces in the American Civil War. And yes, it is a controversial theme. Let's not play around with that. So someone said, could this lead to a revisionist game? Even worse, to a lost cause theory game, lost cause vision of the American Civil War. So just a celebration of Southern heroism against just the Northern numbers, but it was a lost cause, a romantic lost cause. The danger is there. To the intelligent, to the expert history connoisseur, this does not happen, because everyone who really knows about the American Civil War understand that this is not the case. The historical treatment of the episode is absolutely correct. There's no revisionist theme here, absolutely. But I know that someone might get to that conclusion. And this has been, effectively, this is a criticism that has been moved against this game. But after a while, I read a post by someone who really played many times the game, and this really opened my view on the game and in general on the treatment of controversial themes. Is that, well, I played this game and don't see a revisionist game in any kind. Okay, I play as the Southern leaders, but those Southern leaders are engaged in a totally absurd military maneuver that has almost 0% possibilities of succeeding. And I'm leading a lot of people to the death in a totally absurd military maneuvers. Also, this really works as a demystification, almost a debunking of the incredibly genial, incredibly clever, incredibly able General Lee mythology. Because we know there is that mythology that General Robert Lee was always right, he always made things good. This is an enormous mistake by Lee. And this game highlights the enormity of that mistake and makes you pay the price for this mistake because you are not General Lee. The maneuver has been decided. You are the commanders on the field. We are closer to the view of, and that was one of the greatest, the strongest point of the Gettysburg movie. You are closer to the point of view of General Longstreet, Lee's second in command, who absolutely knew that the maneuver, that the charge would have failed, that the Southern Army would have, the Confederate Army would have suffered terrible losses for a totally wrong maneuver, that Lee was underestimating the Northern resilience and was absolutely overestimating the Confederate troops' capabilities of carrying that maneuver. And so, but you are stuck in it. And you really, really, really feel like that in your own personal space. You are managing this catastrophe, seeing after you are trying to contain it, but most of the times not even succeeding that. So possibly this becomes, seen from this point of view, this becomes a powerful anti-revisionist game. Because yes, the heroism of those troops, the Southern troops, cannot be denied. The game does not deny it. But it also does not deny the heroism of the Northern troops that are fewer in numbers, but they still get the fire, still manage to push your troop back. And after that, this really opened my view in the fact that there can be biased games, there can be distorted games. This is not one of them. This is a totally correct way of dealing with, even with such a controversial thing, with an episode tied, that is part of a controversial historical event, but also it really made me understand that simulation games, just like historical essays, historical simulation games, just like historical essays, have the value that we as readers and players put in them. We bring our own values, our own views on the games, on the games we play, on the books we read. If a game is made correctly, I can get my own opinions, I can get my own views, I can get my own conclusions about an historical event. Even if there is a vision of the game designer, because Latman really, with those disaggregated victory condition, tells us that yes, you can, after so many plays, get a game victory, but historically, most of the times it will always be futile. So why I, as a game designer, am putting you in command of an almost unwinnable situation, and even if you get to win that situation, most of the times it will be a futile victory? Because I'm a game designer, but I'm an incredibly good game designer, I'm a good historical researcher, and I want you to feel, to experience that historical episode without distortions, biases, etc. I want you to get your own opinions. I'm not hiding anything from it, the good and the bad. And it's up to you to get your own conclusions. But historical treatment is right. No one, this game does not deny the valor of the Confederate troops, does not deny the value of the Union troops, does not deny that theoretically the maneuver could succeed, but does not deny that the fact that even if it could formally succeed, most of the times the maneuver will be future. It would be an absolute mistake by General Lee, General Robert Lee, that was anything but infallible. Also, even if this game does not deal with the great moral dilemmas of the American Civil War, with the abomination of the slavery, of the condition of slaves in the Confederacy, and the great moral problem of the American Civil War, it really deals with the fact that all those romantic battles in the 18th century, 19th century, in the 20th century, even all those romantic views of honor, value, and blah, 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 really don't mean a thing when you're leading men to their death in this terrible killing field. And it is it's about the cruelty of war. This is about the inhuman essence of war, of the fact that intelligent and cultured and cultivated leaders in peacetime still do horrible crimes against their own men and the adversary, the enemies in war, because yes, it is war. And as a Union general said, yeah, war is hell. Yes, and this game tells you what is hell. There can be honor, there can be value, but war still is hell. And this game does not, absolutely, this game does not hide that from you. And this is the trademark of a great historical treatment, of a great historical simulation game. So I don't think that this is a revisionist game at all. Absolutely not. If anything, it is an anti-revisionist game. But its condemnation of the episode is even strongest because it really gets you into that without making abstract or formal moral judgments, but letting you the horror, the futility, the violence of that moment. And this is really, as I said, a trademark of a great game and of a great historical treatment. Herman Lattman just wanted to do a game about an episode like that, such an important episode of the American history, but he designed a hell of a game. I can express, I can just say that. He made an incredibly wonderful and powerful game. And you can get a lot of interesting insights about those events. And really, I really recommend that to you, especially in this edition. I just wanted to say that because it is a theme that is recurring in historical games, and I think that this is a very good way of dealing with those topics. Not hiding anything, letting you know, letting you have your own conclusions, but also not even hiding the moral dilemmas, not even hiding the debunking of certain myths or certain mythology, and encouraging you to know more, to read diverse sources, and to get your own idea, but always with historical accuracy in mind. That is the greatest freedom that we have, the freedom to know more about things, about stuff. This game really helps us to reach that objective in games like that. So yeah, sorry about that, I got a bit carried away. I really like this game. I absolutely recommend it to you. Great solitaire game, and also a great occasion for reading more about those events and getting a more hands-on vision of what really meant to be in this incredibly important and dramatic event of the American history and of world history too. Thank you for having been with me. I hope I have not offended anyone, but those are my views about controversial topics. The fact that you still can have your own opinion. You just need to have your own opinion about those events. Of course, they have to be reasonable opinions. Slavery is bad. Confederacy was wrong. Things like that seem obvious, but have to be repeated. But to get even a stronger opinion, you really need to see also things from the other side. Keeping your critical spirit, your critical attention high, and reading diverse sources, but really sticking to the facts. Sticking to the facts are stubborn things, as John Adams said. Sticking to the strength of the facts and living them through historical games. This is a great game that allows you to do that. Thanks, Herman, for having designed that. Thanks to you for having seen that video. Please, I know that possibly this video will further, I hope, discussion, more confrontation. I really hope so. Just leave comments and we will discuss about that. After all, of course, this is my own personal view. This is a view of an European or an Italian. I'm not American, but I'm really passionate about American history. So I hope to give you another point of view on those events. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Have fun. See you next time. And as always, don't be scared. It's just war games. Ciao.